Livye, with, of all people, Montana. On October 4th, 2020, Livye's birthday, Matthew texted Montana. "I didn't cheat on Livye with multiple women, just you, LOL."
He was continuing a relationship on with his ex-wife and had my daughter in the middle of it, not knowing that she was being manipulated by all of them.
I was in an abusive relationship, so I just said, "Livye, you know it gets worse." And she said, "I know," and I said, "Okay, I love you."
Livye broke up with Matthew. But in a small town like Hemp Hill, you can run, but you can't really hide. In the early morning hours of Halloween 2020, Matthew and Livye would end up together again on the side of this road. The morning Livye Lewis was killed on the side of the road, her ex-boyfriend Matthew Edgar found himself in a hospital bed, claiming he had no idea how he got there.
I had no clue why I'm here.
Despite the blood on his face, Matthew wasn't injured, but he did admit to Sheriff's investigator J.P. McDonough that he'd been drinking.
How much? Bottle, Jim Beam.
Jim Beam? Anything else?
A few beers earlier in the day.
He said he'd been at a party the night before at his friend Bobby Ozant's house. That's when he claims he last saw Livye.
She, her, my ex-wife, both was there.
Okay. Oh, so you left Bobby's, went to your house? You went home?
I was at my house.
Okay.
And that's where Matthew claims he blacked out and simply can't explain how he ended up in a fetal position between a black truck that wasn't his and Livye's car.
You don't know how you ended up on the ground behind the car
No, sir.
with the dead girl in it?
I don't have a clue.
McDonough took swabs of the blood on Matthew's face for DNA testing.
All right, Matthew, I'm going to do this one on the chin.
And Matthew's clothing was taken into evidence.
I'm going to go through some of your clothes, okay?
Yes, sir.
Then McDonough placed Matthew under arrest.
Charge is going to be homicide. All right? Now pay attention to me. I want you to understand why, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were found behind the vehicle where the decedent was. There was some kind of relationship between you and her. There is a weapon laying on the ground behind the vehicle, close to where you were found. Okay? Based on that and a few other things, I'm going to place you in custody right now for homicide, okay?
What's his reaction to that?
He had none.
But he didn't say, "You're going to do what?" I didn't do anything. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
With Matthew jailed, McDonough was on a legal deadline. According to Texas law, the district attorney's office now had 90 days to present enough evidence to a grand jury to indict Matthew, or they would have to release him on bond. So McDonough enlisted the help of the Texas Rangers and began piecing together what happened to Livye.
Matthew was just an easy arrest.
Sean Dunn is an old friend of Matthew's.
He told me, "Hey, look, I didn't do this. Yes, I was there at the scene, but I did not do this. I loved her."
Sean, a former Texas oil and gas man, once employed a then 20-year-old Matthew as a supervisor on his pipeline.
I know Matthew